You may have a question to ask. Why are reindeer associated with Christmas and Santa Claus? Well, my answer will freak out millions of Christmas lovers. Now, reindeer are often associated with Christmas traditionally because of their connection to Santa Claus or St. Nicholas and his signature sleigh. And another thing, reindeer are actually a good riding animal. So it's no surprise that these deer can pull a sleigh full of 10 Christmas-loving children. They're literally like a mix of a typical deer and a domestic riding horse. But the thing is that, reindeer are way too heavy to fly off with Santa's sleigh literally levitating. But you may have another question. Why are reindeer called so? Well, sadly, its name has nothing to do with reins. Reindeer actually came from an Old Norse word, reinen, which means horned mammal. However, if the one species is divided into 6 separate species, the reindeer from North America are called caribou, while the reindeer from Europe are just called reindeer. But the most famous Christmas reindeer was Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. His signature red nose is actually a red light bulb. But that's what made him a Christmas symbol. Whenever you think of Christmas, you would typically start thinking of Santa Claus riding his sleigh with large flying deer. Well, I'm here to tell you that those flying deer are called reindeer. And they actually can't fly or even glide whatsoever. A reindeer is the only surviving member of the genus Rangifer. But previously, it was assigned to as Cervus tyrandus. This single species has a whopping 19 living subspecies, with 3 extinct subspecies. However, more recent research suggested dividing the one species into 6 separate species, and also suggested naming the European reindeer as just reindeer and the North American reindeer as caribou. The smallest subspecies can stand 31 inches tall and weigh more than 150 pounds, while the largest subspecies can stand 59 inches tall and weigh more than 750 pounds. The males are actually called bulls, while the females are called cows. What made reindeer a Christmas symbol was Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. In fact, Rudolph and his signature red nose that lights up became a viral Christmas sensation. And because of that, the red-nosed reindeer became a famous part of Christmas merchandise. This is the biggest terrestrial carnivore alive. Meet the polar bear, the walking snowman. On average, a polar bear measures 9 feet long, 5 feet tall, and often exceeds half a ton in weight. But the record holder was said to weigh more than a ton or 2,210 pounds, and also stood more than 11 feet high when standing upright. It was dubbed as Bearzilla, and was shot in Alaska in 1960. In 1758, it was previously described as a white-brown bear found in the Arctic Circle. That was until 1774, where it's now known as a separate species with no subspecies. Nicknames include sea bear, ice bear, and even as a tradition, white bear. Despite that nickname, these bears are not actually colored white. Underneath all the fluffy fur, there's actually black leathery skin. So why are polar bears white? Well, believe it or not, but it actually has to do with the sun's light. They need this white fur to camouflage with the snow. But there are some rare cases of a green polar bear. Sadly, polar bears are almost going to be extinct. That's because of humans hunting them, and climate change melting all the ice away. It's depressing because they need ice to hide themselves in order to ambush a seal. This is what if you ask a spy to put on a black and white birdsuit and ask him to dance to Happy Feet. Meet the penguin. Nature's dancing Justin Timberlake. These prancers are part of the order Spheniciformes. And although typically seen in their signature black and white feathers, some are seen colored in yellow, orange, gray, and heck, even blue for God's sake. And that's not a joke. The smallest penguin, the blue penguin, can stand 30 centimeters tall and weigh 3 pounds. While the biggest penguin, the emperor penguin, is the heaviest, with a maximum weight of 100 pounds, and also the tallest, at 5 feet tall max. The babies, colored in whitish gray, are so God-forsaken sweet. As a matter of fact, you can cuddle with one of these sweethearts. Just be careful when a mad penguin sees you. It can actually bite you with a toothy beak. These tuxedo dancers are responsible for the success of the Madagascar franchise. We all know them for their signature waddling walks. But some penguins, like the rockhoppers, hop around. They can also dance, but just not as professional as seen in the famous Happy Feet duology. This is probably the cutest animal on Earth. Meet the harp seal, the living plush toy. It was previously placed in the Phoca genus where all pinnipeds were originally placed in too, but currently, it is the only surviving species of the Pagophilus genus. The cute little baby is colored in its signature white coat, while its adult has a darker white coat with grayish-black markings on it. In fact, those markings are why it got its name, harp seal. I mean, they kinda look like a harp, but poorly drawn by the same designer that made Gooby and the ever-famous Spoderman meme. As a sweet baby, it is relatively small. But as an adult, it can get pretty darn big, at 6 feet long and exceeding a weight of 250 pounds. Believe me, the baby harp seals are so dang cute, that even people can't freaking resist hugging these sweeties. Even Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls could sleep with a baby harp seal. They just look like poor little puppy dogs covered in freezing cold snow. In fact, the baby version of these sweethearts is so freaking heart-melting that they were featured in the sweet game called Adopt Me. This is Ursus arctos, also called the brown bear, the OG honey bear, the one that made Bill Martin Jr. and Eric Carle famous bookmakers. Ursus arctos has a whopping 17 subspecies still alive. The most famous out of those 17 are the popular grizzly bear, the Eurasian brown bear, and even the biggest one, the Kodiak bear. 5 subspecies previously lived, but then went extinct. The smallest can stand upright at 5 feet high and weigh more than 200 pounds, while the largest can stand upright at 9 feet high and surpass half a ton or 1,100 pounds in weight, with even bigger bears standing 11 feet tall when on 2 legs and weighing a ton or 2,200 pounds. It is the second biggest land carnivore alive today, after the polar bear. Although typically thought of as a meat-eater, it sometimes eats plants, making it an omnivore. Also, traditionally, people think of brown bears licking honey off of their big paws, which led to this sweet nickname, the honey bear, which is actually an uncanny nickname for the kinkajou. Brown bears are also fish eaters, and they catch fish by opening their jaws while patiently waiting for a fish to jump into their mouths. This is Vulpes vulpes, formerly Canis alopex, also known as the red fox, or simply just fox. He is actually the one that became a famous character in those kitty fables like The Fox and the Grape Tree. It is the biggest living fox, with vixens, or females, being bigger than dogs, or males, at 20 inches tall, 35 inches long and weighing 30 pounds, with the biggest foxy being almost 5 feet long and weighing a hefty 38 pounds. It has a total of 16 subspecies. Even though these foxies are typically an American animal, there are also reddies found in Eurasia and North Africa. Red foxes are also introduced in the Australian outback. Because of that, native Aussies named them as one of the worst invasive species, along with the giant cane toad. These sweeties are typically depicted as sly and cunning predators. Although typically seen to be so dang cute, they can be deadly and can carry rabies. A cool act red foxes can do is jumping 6 feet off the ground and hitting their head onto the snow. Please welcome Canis lupus, also known as the wolf, the real-life big bad wolf. The mascot of the famous 1960s rock and roll band, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that gifted us the domestic wolves and dog breeds of Canis familiaris.
Boy, do I feel freaking gifted.
Other names include gray wolf, timber wolf and even common wolf. It has a total of 38 living subspecies, with 16 subspecies going extinct. Many members of the Canis genus were previously described as a subspecies of wolf. And that also includes the more synonymous dingo, and even the famous domestic dog breeds that descended from the wolf. It is the biggest wild member of the Canidae family and Canina subfamily, with the smallest standing 20 inches tall and weighing 30 pounds, and the largest standing 50 inches tall and weighing 150 pounds or even 180 pounds. Many people think of wolves howling at the moon for no god-darn reason as a tradition. But that's the wrong answer, y'all. The reason why they howl is to communicate with each other. Say hello to Lepus americanus, also called the snowshoe hare. It is small, like many other rabbits and hares, at 20 inches long, 8 inches tall and weighing 3 pounds. Although typically wearing a white-colored fur coat, its fur can actually change into brown. But you are probably here just to hear me answer a question. Why are snowshoe hares called such a thing? Well, the answer might be genius, but can look gross upon first glance. You see, the bottom of its feet are covered in stiff hair that form slippers designed for snow walking.
I'm gonna burn those slippers.
So f***ing scary, right? Well, the reason for these strange feet is honestly smart. They help it support its weight in the snow. Kinda like hooves, you know? But seriously, look at how off these feet look. It's like a mad scientist's f***ing experiment that went completely wrong. But hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Meet Mammuthus primigenus, formerly Elephas primigenus, also known as the woolly mammoth. The real-life Snuffleupagus. It is an extinct species of elephant in the Mammuthus genus and Elephantidae family. Its closest surviving relative is Elephas maximus, the Asian elephant. A large bull can get to the size of an African elephant bull, at 11 feet tall and weighing 8 tons, 7,000 kilograms. It has large curved tusks used to rub snow off of its favorite food, grass. Its wool is really a mixture of hair, fat and fur to keep it nice and warm from the snow. It is a famous part of the Pleistocene Ice Age. It is believed that these furry elephants were born 400,000 years ago in Eurasia and North America. They died 10,000 years ago, mostly because early humans hunted these fluffballs for food. But researchers have found frozen mammoths. But in the Wrangel Island, there was also these dwarfed versions of the woolly mammoth that died out 4,000 years ago. These guys were actually 4 times lighter than and half as tall as their larger version that died earlier than them. Luckily though, scientists have a chance to bring back these hairy elephants to life. Well, they're actually deciding to make a mammoth-elephant hybrid. It'll be called the Mammophant and will be designed to fight off climate change. Woolly mammoths will come back to Earth on January 1st, Monday, 2024.